Good afternoon. We're going to go over the watch list for the week of October 19th. I don't have much on the bullish side. I have a lot on the bearish side. Things are going to be very sensitive this week to news. I saw today that Pelosi is saying that they're optimistic that a stimulus relief bill will be passed before election. So that's probably what's going to control the market again. So hopefully they'll just get it done and get it over with, so they can stop flip-flopping and messing with the market, which would be wonderful. But we'll have to see what happens. So if that is the case, and it does, she's optimistic about it, it's probably going to gap up. And if it does, maybe watch it over 350 for a push to I mean, if it gets over 350, it's probably going to go to all-time highs. 355, is that the all-time highs? Oh no, 355 is all highs. 358.75 is all-time highs right there. But I was looking at the hourly. 355 would probably be the next area to go. If it does end up gapping up, 355 will be a big area. And like I said, it's going to be, the week's probably going to be purely news driven on stimulus. So with that said, I'll start with the bearish side, which I only have a few, because I have a lot of bearish looking charts now. I know that like a head and shoulders right here is sort of forming on the daily on Facebook, but I think that if the market pops and does get some bullish momentum, I think Facebook is one that I would definitely look at. And it did close over the middle Keltner channel on Friday. And I think that if it does get over the I'd even say 268 or even 270 area, it's going to push to 275, maybe to 280. So I would definitely watch for Facebook for reversal. I know Tesla, I have on the list. Tesla has earnings Wednesday after hours. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets pushed to 500 before earnings, assuming that it will have some bullish momentum going into earnings, some hype. So I would look at it over 450, 455 for a push to 465, and a push to 500. I think that if it gets over this like 465 area, it's gonna probably end up going to let's see, let's break this out some more on the. Let's break it out to the 2 hour. See if it. Yeah, see, it gets into this area right here. It gets over the 465. Yeah, I think 480 would be the next big area psychologically. And then if it does get over 480, it pushes to 500. I would imagine there'd be some hype going into Tesla's earnings. If not, I mean, you just have to see how it trades this week. I am not going to touch it until after earnings. I usually don't touch Tesla until Thursday or Friday, so this is for the people that want to play it. It's going to be expensive, so with earnings, so I'm not touching it until after Wednesday, which would be because the earnings is Wednesday after hours, so Thursday I'll probably look at it. Amazon, a big sell-off on the Prime numbers, which wasn't officially out by the company. It was out by Citi. Citi just came out and just said they didn't think it was going to be, people were going to be disappointed. They don't really know. So I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Amazon ends up popping and ends up releasing something saying its numbers were strong or as expected or better than expected, and this Amazon takes off. So I think that it was a overreaction maybe. We'll have to really see what the numbers are from the company when they put it out, but I wouldn't be a bit surprised if the numbers end up being at least decent to somewhat strong, and Amazon recovering. So I would definitely watch it over. I mean, it says it's down to 3160. It's not down to 3160. We bring it up on the 5 minute and see what it did after hours. Yeah, I see the after hours. I brought it up back up to 3265. So. Yeah, 3265 is where it's at right now, so it's right around right here, right in here somewhere. So right at the bottom of the Keltner channel on the 1 hour. So I would watch it over the 3300 for a push to 3350, even 3400 again. I think that's going to end up getting reversed and making a run. So, but I mean, there is a head and shoulders right there. You can see a left head, right the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. So it's possible it could go down more, but I just think that the numbers will be pretty good. I'd rather hear something from the company than City. So I think it was an overreaction. We'll have to see if that's what happens. Baba just keeps going and going and going. I didn't think it'd get over 300, and it got over 300 and it held. And I wouldn't be a bit surprised. If the market's strong, it's probably going to end up popping over the 310. And if it does get over 310, the next area is probably 315. That will be very iffy to trade. There is a divergence going on with the histogram, the MACD. So I also will be watching for it on the short side under 304 to fill the gap. So under 300. So I would definitely be watching on both sides on Baba. That's pretty much all I have on the bullish side. Most of everything looks pretty bearish, but we'll have, like I said, it's going to be based on what happens news. So just because I have it on the bearish side doesn't mean I'm not going to flip-flop and jump on the call side of it if the market's strong or news comes out on it or something changes. But yeah, I always ready to jump the other side. But on the bearish side, I have Roku. Roku is just, you got this area, it breaks down below this 220 area. It's going to close the gap down to 213. So I would definitely watch for that gap fill under, I'd even say 222. Yeah, 222, then 220. If it does break this 220, it doesn't hold, it's going to fill the gap. So I would definitely watch that. I posted a chart the other day about Goldman Sachs, not RGS, GS. Can't type right. It's in this channel of 215 to the 190, and it did hold over the middle candle, but it doesn't really. The ranges on GS aren't that much, but if it does get below the 20, let's see, what was the low of this candle? 205.81. If it does get underneath 205.50, I'd watch for a push down to the 202 area and even down to 200. 200 would be a big psychological number, and it does seem to hold 200 pretty good. So downside will be limited on GS, but I don't usually like trading GS that much, Goldman Sachs, because it doesn't really move. The daily range is not that much. It only moves like $2 to $3, sometimes 3, 4. So yeah, anywhere from $2 to $4 is the range on Goldman Sachs. But Netflix, it's got earnings this week, Tuesday after hours. Last time I had earnings, I had a big run up, and it didn't have the run up. It's already up in this 470 area that's got rejected a few days ago, Wednesday, and it's got big selling on the last three days. So I would definitely watch this on the short side. Maybe the numbers aren't going to be as good. Maybe somebody knows something that we don't. But every time it gets up in this 470, it just gets rejected. So I would definitely watch it underneath the. It's got to stay underneath the 435. If it gaps up, I'd definitely be watching under that 435, 535 again. But if it does get below the 530 area, watch 526 and 515, even the 510 area. So right now, I wouldn't be, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if the market gaps up. And if it does, Netflix will probably gap up. And if it does, this area I have on the line, the 536 area, is going to be a very, very important line for them to hold. And if it does gap up over it, I'll be watching for it to go under it again on Netflix. But like I said, Netflix is going to be expensive. I probably won't touch it tomorrow because of that. I'll wait till after earnings and see what happens. I would be surprised if they miss on earnings. So we'll have to see. Target is another one. Target, I cannot type today. Target, it's got a huge divergence, and it just keeps diverging, and it just showing up on all kinds of time frames. I'm gonna look at something here. No, this is not the ticker. But yeah, you get a bearish divergence. It's been going on. I mentioned it last week. You get on the RSI. You get the higher high and the lower high on the RSI and histogram, MACD, and stochastics. I mean, it's on all indicators, so it's bound to pull back. So I'd watch it under 164 for a push down to the 160 area right there. Then I'd watch it down to the 156, which is where it broke out right here. It could retest this area, the 155 area. And if it does manage to break that, it's got the 152 to 150 area. So target, I think, is going to pull back. I mean, hopefully it'll be this week. If it's not, whatever. Apple is another one. Obviously, if the market's strong, Apple will probably end up going with it. But Apple's got like a descending wedge right here in the hourly. You can see this, the support line right here, and it's pushing down. If it does manage to get below the 119 area, it's probably going to fill the gap to the 117. If the market is weak for whatever reason, push to 115, even down to the 113 area and the 112.50. So this will be the area that it needs to hold right in here if it does end up selling off for Apple. So we'll be watching that. FDX is just crazy. I mean it was back in June, it was only $100, and now it's almost at $300. So I mean, you're talking 4 or 5 months, it's up 200%. And the thing I want to point out is, let's point out the monthly is what I was looking at earlier. I mean, the monthly right here, I mean, it topped at around 275. So I mean, look at this run. This run is just so insane on the monthly, even the weekly. I mean, it's crazy out of the Kellner channel. It did end up breaking out on the weekly right here. I think that it's going to give some back. I mean, it's got to get back within the Kellner channel. It's way away from the moving averages, and it should pull back. You know, hopefully it'll be this week. Let's get back to the daily. So I would be watching it under 280 for a push to the 275 area, then the 272, 270, and if it does manage to sell off pretty substantial, I mean, you get from the 270 area, I mean, you get 268, then you get to 261, but I would imagine it's going to drop that much. If anything, I think it would drop down to the 275 area on FDX at least, if it does manage to pull back this week. So I'd definitely be watching that. Win is another one. I was watching Win on the long side, but it can't seem to get out of its own way. The thing I want to look at is the weekly on Win. I mean, it's just got a descending triangle right here. This is a support line right there at 70, and it's pushing down. So I would watch under 70 for a push to I mean, 69 is not that far away. Let's see, if 69 breaks, I mean, it could get down to 60. So I would definitely watch that under 70 for push to 60. So, but it's been holding really strong. So if it does manage to hold 70, I would watch it over the 72 area for a push to 74 to 76. So Win, I mean, it's really strong 70 area, but it's showing a bearish pattern. We'll have to see if it actually plays out. So Win will be tricky to play under 70 and over 72. Cat is another one I'm watching. Cat is just going on a tear, and I want to bring up the monthly on this. Bring up 10 years, a monthly. Now you can see right here, Cat back in 2017 it went to 173, so it's kind of like double topping on the monthly. I would definitely be watching that. You can see it on the weekly too for rejection, because when it got over the 170 it quickly rejected. So I would definitely be watching this for a pullback. and it's showing up on the RSI. I mean, the RSI is just ridiculously high. I mean, what is it on the weekly? Yeah, it's not that high. I mean, it was a lot higher back here. But yeah, I'd be watching it for a, let's see, what is this, under 167 for a push to 163, down to 160 area, then right around the 155. So I'll be watching CAT for a pullback. At least if it does pull back, I think it's got room to 155. So the last one is Yum. I don't even know if I've even traded this. If I have, it has not been that often, and it has not been for a very long time now. Yum, I mean, it's right here up against the RCT trend line on the weekly. It rejected here, so I'm assuming it's going to reject again. I'll be watching for that rejection, so I'll be watching under 98 for a push to 96, and then a push to 94. It's got room down to the 92 area, even the 91. So I'll definitely be watching for a rejection on that. I'd have to look at the option chain on Monday when it's actually live to see what the spreads are. I'm not sure if I've even traded Yum. If I have, it hasn't been that often, maybe 1 or 2 times a long time ago. But I would have to look at the option chain on that one. So that's going to do it for the watch list. I mean, I got a lot more on the bearish side, but like I said, if the market does end up getting strong and things actually end up getting bullish, I will change my position quickly. That's why you need to be in the room. Things can change very fast. One tweet, one press release, and everything, the whole dynamics can change for the week. So got to be careful and got to be ready, not be one-sided, and just be open-minded and willing to change positions on the drop of a dime. So that's going to do it, and I hope this has helped. And if you're not in the room, the link is in the description. The link is also in the bio, on my bio on Twitter and StockTwits. So thanks for watching.